Good morning to all of you. I want to thank Dr. Mohammed for inviting me in this course. So today I want to share some of my ideas and practical technique with you in the heart cataract and myopia. First, I will not very unnecessary interest in the subject matter of this students. First, I will discuss heart cataract, then I will go to myopia. As all of you know that heart cataract is a challenging situation. So definitely thorough pre-operative evaluation is very important. Slit lamp examination under full mydriasis is very important. Determining the anterior chamber depth is most important because shallow of the anterior chamber more transforms to damage. So if it is a grade 5 nucleus with chamber depth of less than 2 mm and a grade 5 cataract with more than 2 mm, that's Hale and Hamilton difference. So shallow anterior chamber with hard cataract, you must be very cautious so that there is chance of endothelial damage. Corneal evaluation is mandatory in this hard cataract because as we are going to use more energy, so there is chance of endothelial damage. So preoperative corneal evaluation is mandatory, either by specular reflection or specular microscopy. Definitely specular microscopy is ideal, but if it is not available with you, specular reflection with slit lamp is mandatory so that you can plan your surgery preoperatively. Presence of pseudo-exfoliation material in the lens, as already Dr. Ghosh highlighted, because pseudo-exfoliation, you already mentioned that there will be poor mydriasis and pleural weakness. That will further complicate the situation in case of heart cataract. Anesthesia, either topical or peribulbar, but definitely a peribulbar is choice because as you are doing in the most ideal situation. Incision, temporal limbal incision is preferred, but scleral incision you can give because conversion to manual small cataract surgery will be easier in case of scleral. But when you are using temporal limbal, if you want to convert at any time, you can rotate your table and go to the superior side and you can make a scleral incision and convert to manual small cataract surgery. The next part, after putting the incision, anesthesia and incision, next part is the capsulorhexis. Capsulorhexis is the most important stage. Tripod blue staining helps in visualization of the anterior capsule throughout the procedure. We prefer to use soft shell technique in all of our hard cataract cases. So first we are using Discord, then HPMC. Size of the capsulorhexis will be larger as compared to your routine cases, 5.5 to 6 mm. This larger capsulorhexis diameter will prevent damage to the anterocapsular rib during chopping, and also if you need to convert, it will be easier if you make a little bit larger capsulorhexis. And if you are repeating, hydrodissection should be minimal because as we are expecting a huge nucleus, so huge nucleus is occupying almost the full bag. So hardly there is any space. So if you inject a large amount of fluid, so there is chance of blowout of the posterior capsule. So hydrodissection should be very careful. You must take out before you get the fluid, take out the viscoelastic and put small amount of fluid into the capsule bag, and that will be sufficient. The next part is the nuclear management. This is most important because this cataract only nucleus and nucleus, hardly there is any cortex and epinucleus. As we know that human nucleus is biconvex and thickest at the center, as we were discussing in all the sessions. So managing the central part is the most critical in this type of heart cataract. So and we know that when we do the phaco in heart cataract, cracking of the posterior plate becomes challenging. So to facilitate the cracking of the posterior plate, you need to debulk the central part of the nucleus. Debulking can be either in the form of crater formation or in the form of upgrade. So in case of central crater, thinned out central nucleus helps in posterior tracking, because you have already thinned the central thickest part, so definitely posterior tracking will be easier. And also it will allow you to make a space that you can walk further posteriorly, and that will prevent the damage to the endothelium. Half range, this is also good, and also it allows to convert to stop and chop in direct chopping well. This is a small video showing the central crater formation. The parameters that I use is traditional continuous power and low vacuum and low flow rate. See, as I am using the traditional power, so I am giving more power, so the chance of hitting is more. So my assistant is pouring saline into the incision so that there is no incisional burn. So when you are using high power in the continuous mode, there is chance of wound burn. So you must be careful. So another video showing the half range. Here also I am using the same parameters, traditional conventional ultrasound in the range of 60 to 80, moderate vacuum and moderate flow rate. The Kelman deep helps you to go further deep because of the angulation. This is basically helpful in this type of trenching. You can go further deep so that posterior tracking will be easier. Once the one part is completed, we are further deepening, and then we will push to chop. And then once you get a crater, either by half range or central crater, the next part is the chopping of the hard nucleus. For that you need some choppers. These three choppers we use. First one is the flat chopper, then is the sharp chopper with a smaller length, and this is the sharp chopper of longer length. This is 1.25 millimeter. My choice is this, because if you use a long chopper, with sharp long chopper, you can go to the posteriorly, and posterior tracking will be easier. This blunt chopper we don't use because horizontal chopping is not indicated in this type of hard cataract, because the whole brass is occupied with the whole big nucleus. Hardly there is any epinuclear particle cell. So if you try to do horizontal chopping, you may damage the anticapsule and resolve. So horizontal chopping is not indicated in this type of super hard cataract. So my choice is long sharp chopper of 1.25 millimeter length. So selection of the chopper is most important in cracking the posterior plate. So this is one video. So once we finish the half range, now we are proceeding to chopping. So my parameters is the fast mode. I use the fast mode in the off time, and I have one in the range of 350 to 400 and of moderate flow rate. Torsional and the pulse, what is in other machine, usually does not help in this chopping, because those are sweet ultrasounds that punch is not there in this in that ultrasound. So only the fast mode helps it. Until the microscope goes more into the deep, you will not get a good read. What is very much needed in this type of hard pattern. So proper selection of the parameters is very important. As well as technique is there, but also parameter selection is important. Choosing the power and the vacuum and the flow rate, and try to make as small fragments as possible, maybe 6 to 8. More smaller fragments you do easier, further. So once I chop completely, I am replenishing the viscose with side port, because by the time I have completed the chopping, the viscose has been washed away. So repeated viscose injection prevents the endothelial damage. See, once my chopping is complete, see the fragments is coming so swiftly into my tape. Here the settings is OZIL with IP. Here there is because OZIL gives you the excellent followability with IP, so that there will be no chattering and the fragments will stick to my FECO tip, and the emulsification will be easier in the central capillary region. As there is progressive meiosis, it is common with hard cataract. You are using the because there is little bit turbulence, definitely they are using high parameters. So completed the chopping part. This is another video. We have already did the central platter. Now next part is the chopping part. Here we are using the same thing. We are using the vast mode of 50%, on-time 35%, and vacuum is of 350, and flow rate of 25-26. And also you have to expose your FECO tip, because you have to retract your sleeve little bit further behind as compared to normal cases, because more you wear your FECO tip, so that will help to go further deep into the nucleus, because that is more important. Until you have to go into the deepest part of the deepest and hardest part of the nucleus, because there only you will get a good grip, then only you can do the chopping. So already I made 3 or 4 fragments, and also you go further deep. This lateral separation is more important. Once you make one chop, then go further deep with the chopper, so that you can do your posterior plate cracking. Unless you complete your posterior plate cracking, it's not possible to emulsify the fragments. Again, I'm using these. Once I made a chop, then for fragment removal, I'm using the OZIL with IP. This is what the intermediate color is, the IP that gives me the excellent followability and stick the fragments to my FECO tip. That prevents chattering and damage to the endothelium and the posterior capsule. During removal of the last fragment, you must be very careful, because hardly there is anything in the bag. So anytime posterior capsule can come, because here posterior capsule is lax, because bag is so much extended. So you must be very careful in case of hard cataract in the last fragment. Now this video shows the problem in posterior cracking. Often we encounter this problem. Although we make a chop, that chop does not go to the center part, and that prevents us for fragment removal and sometimes zonal dialysis and PCD can occur. I am chopping, but chopping is not properly extending to the central part. It is stuck somewhere here. Though I am going much deeper with the chopper, but I am not able to extend just here. So, see, once I chop, now I am trying to remove the fragment, it's not coming. Then I realize that my posterior is very thick. Then I switch on to FECO 1 setting, and I trench some little bit in center part. Now the fragment is easily coming. So you see that maybe you have chopped completely, but your posterior plate is thick. Sometimes you have to trench a little bit further. You thin the posterior plate, and that will help you to fragment removal. Okay, now all fragments are coming so easily. And this is a very hard cataract, maybe grade 6. So we are almost at the end. So here you must be very careful. Either you place your chopper behind the picoting that will prevent the booster capsule to come into the picoting. Now this is another example. This is also a hypermature Bunsen cataract. So after making a central cataract, we started to do chopping. We chopped one half, but attached here, central cataract. Though we are trying to chop it, but it is attached somewhere here. So now we are completing the chop, rotating the nucleus 180 degree. And we initiated the crack on the periphery. The crack is going to the center, but it is attached here. Though we are pushing so much of lateral separation, but we are not able to separate the central part. Again, we are trying to do, then we took out the echo probe, put some viscoelastic, then we use two instruments and at the center part. This is also one way. So when you feel difficulty, take out your paper probe, use two instruments and crack the posterior plate. Unless you crack the posterior plate, it's very difficult to chop the fragments. Then the rest of the procedure is same. Here also same thing, we are using the boss mode with high vacuum, we have 400, more than 400. You need that much of vacuum, that will give you the good hold. There is only nucleus, nothing else, no epinucleus, no cortex. And we are stuffing the fragments with the picotic. So that prevents chattering and prevents the endothelial damage and the posterior capsule. Now we come to myopic part. In case of myopic cataract, topical and intracameral preferred because you can avoid globe perforation because it is a long globe, so definitely giving pills or anesthesia there is chance of globe perforation. So topical intracameral anesthesia preferred. Long clear corneal tunnel needed because there is thinned out peripheral cornea, so less clear visibility. So if you get shorter corneal tunnel, there will be corneal tunnel will not self-seal at the end. So you need to be a long clear corneal tunnel. And also you have to keep in mind the pain induced by the lens iris diaphragm retrodisplacement syndrome, especially in case of topical anesthesia in case of myopia. It's called LIDRS. Capsulorhexis is the most important step, proper sizing so that it overlaps with 360 degree IL optic gate. So there will be less visual formation at the end, at the postoperatively, so there is no need to ER capsulotomy. And we know the consequence of the ER capsulotomy in case of myopia. So proper sizing of the capsules is so that it overlaps with 360 degree IL optic gate. Lens iris diaphragm retrodisplacement syndrome. This is the sudden deepening of the antechamber with pupillary dilatation occurs as soon as the irrigation starts. It is caused by the reverse pupillary block. Pupillary myosis occurs as soon as the reverse pupillary block breaks suddenly. And lifting the iris margin with second instrument breaks pupillary block and allows equilibrium of the hydrostatic forces anterior and posterior to the iris, and that breaks the reverse pupillary block and prevents lens iris diaphragm retrodisplacement syndrome. The next video will show this syndrome. This is a high myopia. So we started surgery, paracentesis, then temporal limbal incision, the capsulorhexis. So already I told that proper sizing is important, so it should be 5.5 millimeter, so that you must be very careful in doing capsulorhexis in myopia. So see the whole iris lens diaphragm goes down. This is the lens iris diaphragm retrodisplacement syndrome. Once I start my irrigation, now I started chopping, and you see there is progressive meiosis occurring. So I am chopping, and there is progressive meiosis. But I managed to chop all all around. Then I am removing the fragments. So though it's a very soft cataract, usually myopic cases are associated with hard, soft cataract. They present very early. That's a very plus point. And so, before taking out of the phacoprobe, I am injecting viscoelastic inside so that the chamber remains deep. Then I am using bimanual irrigation aspiration. Now see, once I introduce my irrigation cannula, there is dilation of the P2 and deepening of the antechamber. You frequently encounter, sometimes you get frightened with this. Now once I completed irrigation, I took out, again there is progressive biasing. Once I introduce again, there is further deepening, and putting IOL with continuous irrigation, 3-piece foldable IOL, and you see. So I complete this very uneven pulling and sealing the incision, and that complete. Thank you.